Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unplugged Woodworking podcast. So, I would first like to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been subscribing to us on YouTube, etc. They've been following us. TikTok, I've started to get a lot of views on TikTok. My followers are going up on there. So to everybody that has took the time to do things like this and leave comments as well, there's been a few lovely comments I've had lately, a couple of messages. So a big thank you to everyone that's took the time to do that. It's really appreciated. So what have I been up to? I have finished off a TV unit. That was just like a kind of a simple retro style kind of thing, TV unit. There'll probably be pictures of that today as you listen to this, probably. I also made a start on a simple stake bench. This is for another customer, so I've pretty much just been flattening that. I got it all ripped down, cross cuts. It's kind of near the right size. Obviously, I've nearly got it all flattened, and then I'll be adding the legs. So within the coming week, that should be there should be some pictures of that as well. I also posted some pictures of that pesky table. That table nearly broke me. It was an emotional build, but I did post some pictures of it, and to be honest, it didn't turn out too bad after everything said and done. The few repairs I had to do with it and stuff, and it looks pretty good. To be honest, I'd be really happy with it in my kitchen, and I most probably will build one of that design to go in my kitchen at some point. It turned out really well here, to be honest. So I've also been pretty active on YouTube and on TikTok. I've been making quite a lot of 60-second hints and tips kind of thing. So again, if you want to check that out, there will be a Linktree link in the description, so you hit that and that'll take you to links to all of my content. So today I wanted to talk about some simple constructions, simple furniture, should we say. I wasn't really sure what to call this episode, but there is a build what I want to build in the very near future. And I do mean the very near future, and this is probably going to be more for myself. And this is just basically a 5-boarded bench, basically. But the reason I like this, it has so many applications. It can go be past just all over the place. You could have it in your sitting room, you could have it in your dining room. You could have it in your bedroom, which is where it's going to be going for me. So the bench I intend on building is actually going to be a 6-boarded bench, if you like. It's a 5-boarded bench, but it's actually going to be it's going to have a bottom shelf. The bottom shelf is probably going to house some towels in my bedroom, most likely. And obviously the top of the bench, that's pretty much just going to be to put clothes on. I've got a habit of I'll wear clothes for an hour and I'll take them off, the likes of jeans and stuff. So, and I'm pretty lazy, so they don't get put away. So it made sense for me to have something where I can just put them on and it kind of looks neat, and the bedroom isn't going to look like a bomb site all the time. And obviously it's somewhere where you can actually sit down and put your trainers on, and somewhere firm where you can sit down and put your trainers on, or whatever else. But that was the idea behind that. So I just want to kind of run through kind of the construction and my thoughts on it and stuff. It's, as I said, it's a really simple construction. And I'm probably going to go and give you another example of something else I've built I'll see how much time is left over and whatnot. But so the original build is basically is what it sounds like, a five board build, or in my case, it's going to be a 6-board build. And this is basically just like 5 or 6 sections of board that are cut and pretty much just glued together. So it's the thing about this is that it shouldn't be shunned on, and I know a lot of joiners would shun on this, or like a lot of crafts people would shun on this. And to be honest, I've probably done this myself in the past, because it's such a simple construction. There's no complicated joinery in it. There's no joints at all. It's just all like a butt joints basically. So I can see why a lot of people, and as I said, I've done this myself. I can see firsthand basically of why it's being shunned, but it shouldn't be, because something so simple in the construction of it, there's still examples of these, from 1800s, possibly the 1700s. I'm not too sure, so they do stand the test of time. So, as I said, it shouldn't really be shunned on just because it doesn't contain any, complex joinery. If it hasn't got any dovetails or housing joints in it or whatnot, it still shouldn't be shunned on. So, the top section that's basically 3 boards, and what happens here is it's basically made into a U shape, and it's glued together. So when you've done this is you're kind of creating a bit of a torsion box. So if anyone that doesn't know what a torsion box is, it's basically just like a square box, but it's a very strong shape. It's just the way it's constructed. And you're kind of getting a similar effect with the U section, the U, like the shape of the top. It's basically a U. So that in itself is actually giving you a lot of strength in the build to start with. So once this is done, you've got the other 2 sections, or the other 2 boards, if you like, which would be your 4th and your 5th board, and these again are just butted up to the top, to the underside of the the bench top. They're glued in place, and then the nails on top and either side. So when you're nailing these through the top, you're basically stopping the board from moving its position on the top, and it's the same again when you do it on the sides. You're stopping it from moving position on the side. Now, same again, a lot of people probably might look at this and and basically shun it and say it's nailed together with a little bit of glue. It's not going to be as strong as whatever else, some housing joints or whatever. But they're right in what they're saying. It's not going to be as strong as what you would do with some joints, but it's very, very, very quick to make. And as I said before, there's still examples of these, from 200 years ago, and they've stood the test of time. But by the time you've added the little bit glue and you've put the nails in, it ain't going to go anywhere. I dare say, and I would actually really like to have a try of this sometime. I don't know if I ever will, but I would like to build one of these and use it as a workbench, like a kind of a Roman workbench, if you like. I do recall seeing something similar to this, and it was used as a sawhorse. I don't know where I've seen it. It's probably on, I'm guessing, Instagram. But I've never seen something like this being used in real life, if you like, but other than social media. So I would actually like to do that just to see how it held up, to see the functionality of it. Because if you look at that, and then you look at the likes of a Nicholson Bench is a very, at least the top is a very similar. Well, it's pretty much the same construction, isn't it? Pretty much, other than the fact that the bench tops are what's the word I'm looking for here? They tend to be a split top, because obviously they've got to allow for expansion and contraction. If I said that right there, basically the bench getting smaller, so they have got to allow for that. So another thing I like about simple furniture like this is you can make it as simple as you like, or you can actually make it look a little pretty, which in this build I do intend to do. So, for instance, on a lot of the 5-board benches I've seen, when you look at the leg portions, so you'll have a V cut out in the centre of the leg portions. Now, this is basically just to give the bench some stability, so that if you can imagine, if you had one big flat leg on both sides and you had uneven ground, the bench is more likely to rock. So by adding a V and making one leg into 2 legs at either side, so you're having a total of 4 legs, it gives the bench more stability. So as I said, I've seen a lot of them with just V's. So what I intend to do, and again, this is not uncommon. You can actually, or I'm going to, add like a bit of a profile. I'm not really sure the type of profile, what its name is. I think it might be I don't know if I'm saying this right actually, an Oogie or an Oogie. I don't know which. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that is spelt OGEE. So it's basically like a lazy S, if you like. So you'll have one on either side. Where the V would be, obviously you've got two straight lines to create your V. So instead of the 2 straight lines, you would have that Oogie or the lazy S. And I think that just would set the bench off, but as I said, there's a lot of examples where it's just a simple V. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it adds to the speed of which you can build this bench, and it also, it's a bit more beginner friendly as well, because if someone's a beginner, they're not necessarily going to be able to do things like this. And it's going to be the same on the aprons, so that would be where am I here? So on the aprons, you've basically got 4 corners, like two either side, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put that Oogie or the lazy S effects, on there, and it's just going to add to it. Me personally, and same again, I've seen a lot of examples where it's just a simple 45 degrees. Again, there's nothing wrong with this, and it's just going to add to the quickness of it. The functionality to it as well, because if you chop that off, it's less likely to break, and obviously you're less likely to catch yourself on it, or so on and so forth. But as I said, I've seen quite a few examples like that. Personally, I don't like it. I just think it just doesn't look good to me. But as I said, it does add to the quickness, and it can be more efficient for a beginner to do this. I mean, these benches, you could easily knock one of these benches up in a day, easy. Depending on how much attention you give give to it after the initial construction of it. You know, like obviously I'm talking about adding the profiles to the aprons and to the legs, but then you can start going around in chamfer and everything, which again I'm going to do. I'm going to put like a noticeable chamfer all the way around on most of the edges. Again, I just think it adds to it, and I think it's just going to make it, you know, look pretty. So it's the same with the nails. You know, you could use just regular nails. You know, they would do the same job, I suppose. But I'm using rosehead nails. You know, they are quite good doing what they do, and I just like the head. You know, it's obviously I don't even know what type of shape you would call the head, but it's basically got like, you know, multiple bevels on it, you know, and that's kind of why it's called the rose head. But looks pretty, and I quite like it. I've used them a few times in different designs. You could actually also use just some dowel. You know, I have seen people use dowel. And I think possibly this is how it might have been done originally. I know Japanese toolboxes are done a very similar construction, and I know that they were used. There was wooden nails or wooden pegs, if you like, were used in the construction of that. So there's a very good chance that, you know, that's how they were originally built. But having said that, the nails have been around for quite some time now, so I cannot confirm it nor deny it. So it probably was a mix of the two. Probably, you know, I think I would probably, me personally, I would probably more go for the nails. I think they just add a little bit more extra strength, and plus, like I've said, I do like the rose head nails. It just sets it off for me personally. And as I was saying before, one of the things I really like about this, you can just like, you know, you can basically cross the design. You know, just these very simple designs, you can, you know, they can be crossed. The design can be crossed like kind of all over the place. So you can have something like in your sitting room that's basically like housing a telly rather. You could have it in your, if you've got a big enough bathroom, you could have it in the bathroom, you know, to house towels and somewhere for you to sit down while you dry your feet, or, you know, you get the idea. You know, you could even have this in your sitting room, and you could even add a couple of doors to it. You know, if you can imagine, you know, having the 5-boarded bench with a shelf on it, and then just basically adding 2 doors to it, and obviously some backing material on the back. Again, it's super simple to do something like this. You know, it's not, you know, even if you're a beginner, you probably could do something like this. And that's what I like about like some of these simple designs that just cross over. So another example, what I have actually built, ironically it is another bench, and this was a primitive bench. Again, there's examples of these from, you know, the 1800s. They were, from what I believe, they were quite typical in France. And when I built this bench, I did actually build it as an exercise, and I've done this a couple of times, basically as an exercise of how to quickly, you know, make a piece of furniture that's basically just functional. You know, it doesn't have to look great, although, to be honest, it doesn't look actually too bad, and I've had quite a few people comment on the design of it and say, you know, it does actually look quite stylish. Me personally, I don't think it looks stylish, but I think it looks okay. But I think I just like the functionality of it more. You know, it's just a simple bench that can be used like all over the house, inside or out, to be honest. Yeah, so basically this construction is just two boards that were battened together, and then I basically drilled 4 holes for the legs. These holes were 32 millimeters, I believe. That was my largest bit. And basically the legs are hexagonal and tapered, and that's pretty much it. The 2 boards, I didn't actually glue these together. Again, I was just curious to see how the bench would hold up, not actually gluing the boards. Plus it speeded the building process up, which again, this is what I like about all this simple this simple furniture, simple construction, simple design. It tends to be quick to make. So as I said, I didn't glue that. I just put a slight chamfer where the boards meet, to basically highlight that fact, which I think adds to the design of it a little. The battens underneath, they were basically fixed into position with 16 rosehead nails. And again, the reason I chose to use the rosehead nails and take these nails straight through the top was a visual feature, because I really like the rosehead nails. So these basically go through the batten, and these are just clenched, to hold the batten into place. And there's no glue on these either; they're just held into place with the nails, basically. I did, however, glue the legs. I did actually feel I had to glue them. So same again, they were, I've just put them through. I think these were like, I think the sight line, I did draw a sight line and such for these, and I think it was like a 38 degree sight line. My bevel was set at 15 degrees when I drilled these. So I do have a rake and splay on the bench. So I didn't make these conical. At the time, I did have the equipment to make them conical, but I just wanted to do this. I think I made a YouTube. I made a YouTube video of this, and I pretty much wanted this, so anyone could do it with minimal tools. I didn't want people having to go out to buy, like a reamer and a conical tenon cutter. And yeah, that's it's been up for nearly 2 years. This bench, it basically houses my TV. Basically, just before I pressed record on this, I actually I don't know why I did this, but I basically went over and just put my foot on the bench and just started like wiggling the bench backwards and forwards just to see, and it's still as solid as the day I glued it together, pretty much. It's showing no sign of weakness or anything, But that's the thing with a lot of this simple furniture. It looks simple, but it tends to be quite sturdy. Yeah, and as I've said a couple of times during this episode, there's examples that are dating back a couple of 100 years, so it can't be all that bad, can it? So I think something you can take away from maybe this is that a lot of the simple designs and simple constructions, a lot of them shouldn't be shunned, as I said, and they are standing the tests of time. And I think me as a hand tool woodworker, one of the things I do try to go for, not all of the time, but some of the time, especially if I'm making stuff for myself, I try to make it as quickly as possible, because time is short, and there's no escaping the fact that if you are working with hand tools, there is a lot of tasks that are very time consuming, and you're just not going to be able to get away from that. I'm not saying everything's time consuming, because some of the techniques and whatever else, some of the tasks that you do with hand tools can be super quick. they can be actually quicker than using a machine. By the time you get a machine and set the machine up, calibrate the machine, whatever else, you can actually have the task done with hand tools, whatever that may be. But sometimes it can be time consuming, and that's why I look to get these pieces of furniture built quickly. And as I've said, some of the simple furniture is just so quick to make. I do actually plan on doing a video on this 6-boarded bench when I get round to doing it. It's just because I think it's going to be so quick to build, and I think it's got a place in everybody's home. I think everybody could have it, and everybody could make it, and it's just going to be functional no matter where you put it, no matter whether it's in the sitting room, in the kitchen, the bathroom, outside. I just really think everyone can build one of these, and you're going to find some use for it, and most importantly, it's going to last you a very, very long time, especially if you've built it out of a hardwood, the likes of oak. It really is going to stand the test of time. So a bit of a short one today, guys. I think that's pretty much it for me. Again, if you've got any questions, emails, leave a comment. If you've got any subjects that you think would be good for me to talk about, I would really appreciate you taking the time just to give us some ideas. And yeah, that's it, I think. So thanks very much for listening. And again, all those people that have took the time to comment, follow us, like me pictures, me videos, subscribe to us. A very massive thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys later.